You're watching Fugitive Red-Eye, and welcome to another DVD collection update. To start off with today, we have Season 2, Part 1 of Shin-Chan. Now, this actually was specifically Season 2, Part 1, Disc 1, which was the one I didn't have, and it had the case. So now I've got both discs in the case. So now I own all of Shin-Chan Season 1 and 2, and then I just need Season 3, Volume 2, and I will have all of the American series of Shin-Chan. Disc 1 is in the DVD player. Hold on. There it is. Would kind of defeat the purpose of showing Disc 1 that I got if I didn't actually have Disc 1 in the case. And there's a whole speech about Dildor. And now on to some Tarantino movies. First we have Jackie Brown. I haven't seen this movie, and I often forget that it's one of Tarantino's, because I didn't remember it when I was looking at his filmography, but I've never seen it, so I want to check it out. I've heard good things about it. I like Tarantino, so I'm sure I'll enjoy it. It's also, of course, got Samuel L. Jackson in it. Can't go wrong with Samuel L. Jackson. There's the discs. There's the back of the case there. Alright, and on to another Tarantino movie. We have Death Proof, also known as Grindhouse Presents Death Proof, because I think it was actually part of a double feature called Grindhouse originally. Death Proof is one I've been wanting to see for a long time. I know Dozer Mac has told me about it before and told me that it's really good, so I've been wanting to see it for quite some time. But there's Disc 1 and Disc 2. Next up we have Snuff 102. This is a semi-blind buy. I am vaguely familiar of its existence. I've heard of this movie on a couple of the extreme movie channels I watch, and I've heard very mixed things from online reviews, so I wanted to check it out. I'm not entirely sure just how graphic it is, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But from what I understand, it's pretty graphic. And I'm not gonna lie, I do like some pretty graphic movies, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's not something that'll be too fucked up for me, but again, I find it vaguely interesting, so I wanted to check it out. Also, it does have this warning that the torture scenes in the movie are real. I don't know if that's true. I've heard people say that the ones on the humans are totally fake, but I did see someone say there are real animal torture scenes in this, so I don't know how I feel about that. Because I love Cannibal Holocaust, and it has real animal death, but the deaths are quick and clean in that, so if they're torturing animals, I'm going to be a little bit more squeamish on that. Not to say that I won't be able to watch it, but that does fuck me up a little bit that that's in there, if that's the case. Alright, and here we have Dear Reader by Michael Malice, which I have reviewed on the channel before, but I had listened to the audiobook on Audible. And after recently buying the Anarchist Handbook, also by Michael Malice, I wanted to check out I wanted to have a physical copy of Dear Reader. Like I said, I have listened to it on Audible, and I have reviewed it, but I do like to own books physically as well. Next up, we have another book. This one's a classic that I read back in high school, which is Franz Kafka's The Trial. This goes right in hand with 1984 in what helped me understand how scary authoritarianism can be as a concept. It's a great book. I absolutely love it. And then I also got the movie adaptation with Anthony Perkins. I watched this on Netflix years ago, back when it was on there. I don't know if it still is. I actually haven't checked in a while. But Anthony Perkins is great. If you don't know him, he played Norman Bates in Psycho. This movie was also directed by Orson Welles, the guy who made Citizen Kane. I wasn't as big of a fan of Citizen Kane, although I do want to give it another shot because I watched it back in high school. But I love this one, and I love most of Orson Welles' work. Now, I thought I showed this one before, but I couldn't see it in any of my previous collection updates reasonably, so here it is. We got The Best of Deathmatch Wrestling, Volume 4, Queens of the Deathmatch. If you don't know what deathmatch wrestling is, it's like wrestling, but it's a lot more, like, violent, because they actually, like, staple shit to each other and use, like, thumbtacks and break light tubes on each other. And that's all real. The punches and stuff are still fake, but a lot of the more violent stuff is, ironically, the stuff that's real. Why specifically did I get Volume 4, you might ask? Because it was the one with women in it. And I was curious to see if women's deathmatch wrestling was the same kind of stuff you'd see in men's deathmatch wrestling. I watched a few matches, seems like it is. Just was curious, and I do like some deathmatch wrestling here and there, so there we go. Now for some normal wrestling, we have The Legacy of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold is my overall third favorite wrestler, my first being The Undertaker, my second being Hulk Hogan. I love Stone Cold, love his storyline with Vince McMahon, great stuff. I do own a lot of Stone Cold stuff on VHS, as well as I do own a DVD called Stone Cold Steve Austin What? But I don't own this one, and I want to see what they had here. Has a couple of different inserts in it. As you can see, there's a few here. And there's the discs. Now here's one that surprised the hell out of me to just see in FYE when I went in today. A Serbian film. Now this is apparently a new re-release, a new Blu-ray by Unearthed Films, because the copyright date on it is 2021. If you don't know about a Serbian film, it's considered widely to be one of the most fucked up movies ever made. It does definitely have a reputation. Interestingly, the slipcase is different from the outer case, which I do always appreciate. However, the back is not different. There's the disc itself, and it also comes with a sticker that says Midnight Movie Society, so there's that. And here we have another book. We have Stephen King's The Dark Tower, The Drawing of Three, which is the second book in the series. The Dark Tower is my favorite Stephen King book series, and that's part of the reason I was so drastically disappointed in the movie. Because I love the books. The books are fucking phenomenal. But the movie crammed all 7 books into one movie, and did a bunch of other stuff that I didn't like removing major characters and changing a bunch of shit around. Didn't like that. But the books are great. My dad actually read them to me when I was a kid, but he left out a lot of stuff when he read them to me. So when I reread the first one in high school, I'm like, damn, I don't remember any of this. Because obviously these books are not child appropriate, so he toned them down when he read them to us. I don't have the first one, but this was a couple bucks at Savers, so I'm like, why the hell not? Next up, we got another digital collection update. It's been a minute since I've done one of these, but we got Celebrity Deathmatch Season 5, which is actually the first season of the reboot. I loved this show back in the day, so I wanted to watch it again, and that was all they had on here. And the DVDs only have a few episodes here and there, too. Plan to get those, though, as well, eventually. Next up, we have another book. We have Dangerous by Milo Yiannopoulos. Now, Milo's a bit of a controversial guy, but he's a fun guy to watch on YouTube. I've been wanting to get this book for quite some time, and now I finally did. But if you don't know Milo, he's a conservative troll who's really over the top with the way he does things. And he's very intentionally like a provocateur. He likes to stir up trouble here and there. And here we have another book, but this one's an audio book. We have Unmasked by Andy No. This is his book about him going undercover in Antifa and what he experienced there. He's been beat up a few times. Andy No is a journalist, if you don't know, that typically goes and films like riots and protests and things like that. And to end off with, I thought I'd show some stuff that's on the way, because why not? Haven't done that in a minute. So to start off with, we have 1984, the book. I'm surprised I didn't own it before. I own all the adaptations that have been made as movies. And I read the book back in high school as well. It's an absolute classic as far as, dystopian futures and authoritarianism, things like that. Great book. Absolutely love it. George Orwell was prophetic in very scary ways. But yeah, surprised I didn't have it before. But that will be here next time, so that'll be in the next collection update. Next thing that's on the way is Carmen Electra's Nude Women's Wrestling League. Not really a whole lot to say about that. I think it's pretty obvious what I'm going for there. And speaking of, the final thing we're looking at here today, which is the Hentai Heaven Collection Volume 5. Why Volume 5? Because it was on sale one day on Right Stuff, and it cost very little, so I was like, why the fuck not? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this collection update. This has been Fugitive Red Eye. Toodles.
That sucked. I'm sure glad that's over with.
Because when we're at a restaurant, I'm the one that goes, buzz off!
I'm a Michael Jordan.